next day, or I think it was that day, the Paris bombing, and you didn't see this on TV. They killed 2,000 black people. These trucks were running over people in the streets. I see the picture. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah.
And burnt people?
Yes.
It was like 2,000. That's only what you see.
Right. That's only what you see.
I bet you it was worse than that. You know what I mean? And then last year, they had dumped human waste on the Hudson, right here. Mm-hmm. And then you had that drill in Manhattan of a bomb scare, right? And then another 3 months later, you had another dump.
That was in the tunnel, right.
Okay, now you're getting the picture.
I was in Manhattan.
Now, what's going on? Virus.
Exactly.
Okay, you're seeing the picture, right?
Yeah, the water.
Okay, and just this week, right? You had that bombing on the 24th, right? Remember? Yeah. 24th, you had letter bombs were sent to everybody?
Yes.
That was on the See, Israel's got to sit at the head, they got to have six. Was on the 24th, 9 bombs were sent out. Now, the place where the bombs were, the Kazanur Jews, when they came out of World War II, were all sent to that area where the bombing took place. A guy told me this just yesterday. He said, Don, this is right on what you're saying. Here's a piece you don't have, and he told me about the Kazanur Jews. And these fucking guys are listening now, you know what I mean? Okay, then 2 days later, you had the bombing under the Tree of Life, making human sacrifice. They're not the Tree of Life isn't about human sacrifice, you get me? But that's Israel's version. Mm-hmm. And now what's going on? Virus.
Yes. That's what you're hearing about. Tree of Life.
Tree of Life.
Theirs is not the Tree of Life, is what I'm saying.
No.
It's the Tree of Human Sacrifice. See, they had to sacrifice their own, and I said that. So, oh, look at this. I said, yeah, well, that was human sacrifice. Eh? And it's all going back to... Listen to the way Israel's talking to the Palestinians. And then listen to Trump. It's the same MO.
Yes.
And they're proclaiming to be the Supreme Council. They're saying they're the superior race. You get me? Okay.
Everybody wants to be the superior race.
No. They have to say this. Because they're Exodus. You get me? They have no way out. Right. So when the messenger returns, they have to crucify and bury him again.
Right.
You ever see that woman, Silversmith? She's a comedian from Israel. She's a real good comedian. Sarah Silversmith. She's from Israel. She goes, yeah, we crucified him. Yeah, we buried him. And if he comes back, we'll do it again. Why? Because their hands are tainted. Right. You get me? That's what Y2K was. You get me? 9/11 was his return. Right. To return to ground zero and still see all that gold was held in trust till he returns. They didn't. If they decolonized, which they were supposed to, the tribe of Dan only had a 500-year reign. That was 2000. They would have had to give it back to who? Us. Now, if you give it back to the Indians, you got to go all the way back to the temple of Isis. You get me? When Rome declared the papismo, that means anything they created from interest from that sin would have to be returned to us. Well, freak that. Those guys, that's what they do, is they destroy countries and still what? They're going to do it again. You remember the movie Die Hard 1, 2, and 3? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Bruce Willis? Those Germans were trying to steal the gold, 9/11. What was going on? This is the part you're going to like. There was German nationalists here back in 84, 85. They were, the bourgeois Germans. They wear nice sweaters, tights. The women are bourgeois. You know what I mean? Yeah. You touch them and they break. You know what I mean by bourgeois? Real dainty, white people.
Yes.
Anyways, they even smell different. And they were at the camp. Okay, 9/11, just before 9/11, they landed in Gunawaga, because that's how they come in. The Oak Island, the secret tunnels, come in through Montreal. So they have to enter that way, you get me? They landed in Montreal, they were at the Indian Way School. And they came to the Indian Way School here. Okay? In other words, it's the same way and they're entering. Then they went to Manhattan, those kids. Then they flew out of Manhattan. The next day, guess what? Yeah, and then it'll run. Exactly. I do. I'm just trying to show you.
Yeah.
And this is, I figured this out since I talked to you last. I don't know if I talked about it or not.
No, we didn't talk about no 911.
No. It's called the God particle. This is what this is all about. Stephen Hawking. I don't know if you know Stephen Hawking.
Yeah.
He got his theory on Cygnus, the X1 star, and he got a Nobel Prize. Okay, and from his work, and I just seen the movie here. I think it was 2 weeks ago on his life story. And I went,
Documentary?
and I always said this, the reason he was crippled, because he was looking into the vortex, and you're supposed, those guys were supposed to bow to us, you get me? Because we were royalty, and that's where our lineage comes from, huh? So by him studying that, he lost his right, get me? He's like this, to stand up straight on creation. He didn't bow to proper authority. And I listened to it, one narrator said, how come they never studied this? He couldn't figure out why the astrologers all through history would stay away from this one area. Because they knew there was authority there. Sure. So if it's in the stars, they're going to what? Say, stay away from there.
Yeah.
You get me?
Yeah.
Anyhow, the CERN project is built on after the Mayan sundial. You get me?
Right.
And what they need to open that is called the God particle. CERN project, okay? They built this thing after Stephen Hawking, but they still need what?
Us.
The God particle to open it. You understand me?
Right.
Okay, 2015, when the Pope was here, remember when the Pope was in Philadelphia? And I was going to the Longhouse and I was telling people what was going on, and like I really had their interest. You know? It's only a handful.
He came to restore the Constitution for the United States for America.
Yeah, well, he was up to something else too, believe me. He didn't just... And when he was here, like I was running back to to the Longhouse, and you know my phone doesn't work that great. You knew that, right? And I don't check my messages, you know. And this woman finally got up. I said, I've been trying to get a hold of you for 2 weeks. I said, what's up? I seen your message. I finally checked my messages. She goes, you know the people that built the CERN project? I said, geez, that's funny you bring that up. I said, because I wanted to give them a piece of my mind. Well, they want to talk to you. I said, what? Me? Because I just wanted to tell them off. You know what I mean? I said, not the nation? She goes, no, not the nation. They want to talk to Donnie Smuck. I said, okay. Find out what it's about, you know, what's the talks about, and we'll go from there. So she says, well, they'll call tomorrow, and I'll tell them to find out what's the agenda for the talks, and then I'll relay that to you. So she calls back 2 days later after they call again and said, okay, what is it you want to talk about? What can I say to him to see if we can sit down? You know what I mean? And she called me and said, Donnie, they want to make a treaty with you. I said, with me? I said, Hazel, I already sit in a chair. You get me? If I treaty with them, then they sit in a chair and then they can ethnic cleanse mankind.
Right.
You get me? They're pilgrims.
Right. So they wanted to treaty with you so they didn't suffer the punishment.
Exactly.
For what they're, and they knew they'd
no.
gone way too far.
Yeah, well, and I
And then
said,
they're scared.
and then you're going to pay me annual annuities from the gold interest you stole from me 2,000 years ago? Is that what you want? That's all I'm going to tell them. I ain't going to change my story now. Been saying all the way through, you know. What, you're going to give me interest? It'd just be a dime after interest for 2,000 years, right? Like I said, the trust there, all Indian trust money goes to Europe. Canada, United States, like I remember I told you before, the numbers from the apartheid government sent it to Washington, Ottawa. They send it overseas, and that's who sends them money. So they're really divvying up our money, you get me? And
Everybody's spending our gold.
Yeah, everybody's getting...
And we're over here broke.
Right.
Selling tobacco.
Anyways, here's something... Well, let me finish that. So I thought about it and I said, holy shit, that's what it's all about. This is why David Kim, remember David Kim?
David Cam.
David Cam, Singapore built
Thailand.
A CERN project also. Okay?
And he's behind the Bitcoin.
Yeah. Oh, he is?
Yes.
Anyways, he asked me that David once. You told me to friend him.
No. He claimed that he was the feathered serpent.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you that I didn't. Okay. You told me to friend him. Remember? You said
Told you to
friend
talk to him, yeah.
And then he asked me if I knew Francis Boots, and I said, yeah. Why? Well, he defended the clan mothers in Bangor, Maine. I said, who told you this? He said, Francis Boots did. I said, Francis Boots didn't defend the clan mothers in Bangor, Maine. I said, he wanted to take the plea bargain. He's the war chief. It's his responsibility to defend the people in the longhouse, no matter what it takes. He has the authority to do that. It's a title. Be like your commander in general, the war department. Get me? You're gonna let him go into you're gonna let him go into a court and take a plea bargain?
Boy.
You know, and the guys that were charged with him, he was sitting right there. I said, "You're the fucking leader. You're the one that educated us on the great law, and you're the one that's gonna take the plea bargain." Oh, my dead fucking buddy.
Yeah.
You know, dead body.
Yeah.
You're not gonna do that to these guys right here. We believed it. We were kids when we listened to you. Now this is what you do.
Right.
Well, what do you want me to do? I said, you fucking do what I'm doing, what you're supposed to be doing. That's what I said right to him.
Yeah.
I said, what I'm doing is what you're supposed to be doing, and you're not doing it. Now the guy says, whatever Donnie says, that's what goes, and that's it. I said, okay, this is what we're going to do. Even though we lose, we didn't compromise who we are. You want to take the back door and say, fuck you guys.
We don't compromise. We don't take plea bargains, and we don't use lawyers. We stand under the great law of peace.
This guy told this guy, okay, now this is why. David Kim, they decolonized in 1999.
Singapore.
Hong Kong.
Hong Kong.
And gave it back to this dynasty, the Ding dynasty, or whatever dynasty David Kim comes from. You get me?
China,
so now,
Singapore.
Goldman Sachs opened up China for free trade. So Goldman Sachs is behind it. Goldman Sachs scientists were here just
3 weeks ago.
September. Why? Because they were talking to Francis and these other guys. Then they realized what I said. These guys got no authority. In other words, they know they don't have the God what? Exactly. And when they came here, this is important. You know what the Bible says, right? 144,000 will be saved. Yes. One of the guys knows this, right? He goes, Donnie, what's 144? I said, it's not 144. What? It's not one. They said 141 because they don't want you to catch on to 144.
144, but you know what it is.
Yeah. He goes, I knew you would know. I said, yeah, they're just saying that. He said, Donnie, they're scared. I said, what? You gotta see these men.
And what's the number about?
In the Bible it says 100, you know.
But that's the anointed. 144,000 are the ones that would go. You know,
right, you told me
so you know what it is in my the way I think of it when I translate. I think of it almost as the way that they have said that Enoch was sent to heaven alive. He was alive, right? He was sent alive. So 144,000 are of that status, right?
Enoch.
Exactly.
And here's what they propose to the people here. If we work together, we have 144,000 or 141,000 acres. That's the number they use of the Adirondack Park. I said, we already own that, and you're going to give us back something. But the thing was, the scientists wanted to work with us. We can develop this. You get me? With the money that they have. And they're backed by Goldman Sachs, who built the start, like I said, the CERN project. That's why when Trump went to Singapore, remember he met North Korean leader there? He met at the Regis Motel. That's where you are right now. St. Regis. That means the God particle is here.
Hello.
Well,